Alright, we're on the Ackworth bathroom. This bathroom has this tile that was put down. Obviously it's not builder's grade, it was put down after the fact, and there is an issue with the grout cracking all the way on most of these lines here. I'm assuming it's either they didn't put the proper backing board down, or the backer board is not sufficient, or they put, there's another big crack over here, or they put this tile straight on to the subfloor, which would be really stupid, but I've seen it done before, so it wouldn't surprise me. So this floor is coming out. We got two vanities that are coming out. Actually, these two vanities will come out and then go right back, except for the faucets. We're going to change those out eventually. So on this vanity as well, both of these will come out. This will be tiled where they stopped at the vanity. It will be tiled underneath and everything. The vanities will go back, as well as the tops. Still, we'll have to take the mirrors out on both sides. And this tub will also stay. There's a trim kit that he wants to buy that will match whatever faucet he has in the shower, and so we're going to do that on the trim kit rather than take out the whole faucet. It's still functional. I believe it's a Delta, so it should be easy to find. Jacuzzi tub is staying. As I do on all bathrooms that I renovate, the backsplash will be the same tile that she has already picked out, the customer has picked out. And I do like to go up to the window sill with the tile, but again, this window sill is probably a good 18 inches from top to bottom, from the bottom of the tub there to the top of the sill, so I don't know that I'll do that. This knee wall will actually go flush with the tub. The customer wants to see maybe just a little bit of rise, about a 2-inch rise where this tile is at currently, and then over, so this knee wall will be a shin wall, I suppose, eventually. And this framed shower door will also come out, and there'll be eventually a frameless door with one panel here. We're not going to do the curve on this knee wall, it'll be straight. So there'll be a small panel that will go here on the frameless, and then the rest of this, about 28-30 inches, will be just a door. The door will be hinged on this left side over here, and this part of the knee wall will be gone. And we're going to take the shower out, as I like to do as much as possible, which is going to be this door jamb right here. So this is probably about 1 foot by about 4 foot. So we'll get about 4 square feet, maybe 3 square feet extra out of this by taking the shower up to this door jamb. This is a vaulted ceiling on one side, but on the back side it's not. So that 8 foot on the back side is actually where the tile is going to stop at, and then the trim will go up over here. It'll get 45 to where the jamb is and come all the way down. Inside the shower there's a bench that will go away. They opt to have a manufactured triangular tile that's going to go in that corner over there, take up a lot less room. And that will actually increase the size of the shower also. This will be a much bigger shower than what it is when I'm done. We'll reconfigure the drain to center. We're going to put in a new shower fixture where that one is. And on that back wall there's going to be a niche that's going to take up probably about 30 inches or so of that wall. And of course, as I said before, this, about where the bench is where the outside tub is at. So that will be all flush at that level. And when the glass guy comes in, he'll have a larger panel that'll go there. And so that's about all that's going on in here. The tile will be porcelain tile that's going on the floor in a diagonal, and on the wall it is, I believe it's a 6 by 12 that's going to be staggered, like a brick pattern all the way up. And then they have the corresponding bowl nose that's going to go with that. So it'll look nice when it's done. This is the toilet closet area. That toilet will be changed out and of course tiled throughout there. And relatively speaking, it's a simple renovation. The way it started actually is, I guess they had an issue, a lot of issues with the curve over here where it rotted out and the tile was popping off and everything. So you can see the construction method. So already before we've even done a demo, you can see where they wrapped their shower pan over the curb, and they used Durarock on top of it and everything. So there was still a lot of precautions that were taken to do it right. but then you come in with a builder's grade ceramic tile and it kind of negates all the work that was done in order to make it right, because, you know, this is a crap tile with sanded or non-sanded grout, which penetrates, you know, especially on a vertical surface or horizontal surface. Water penetration is always going to be an issue. And then of course the curb isn't sloped the way it should be, so the water sits there. That's basically the starting point of why they're doing the renovation. In the back of the shower here you see the line where the grout was and everything pulling away, and so all things being equal, it was probably, the construction phase was probably adequate, but then the tiling part of it wasn't adequate, and you know, so this house is probably 10-12 years old and they're already having to do this, which is okay. It'll look a lot better than it does now, and I'll be back when it's done. Okay, normally I don't stop the process of the tear out midway. Usually I just show the before and after when I do a bathroom renovation. On occasion I will stop midway if there's an issue that comes up, and in this case there is. As I'm doing the demo, I'm taking out this bench. There is a train of thought that, you know, the more sturdy you build something, that you know, the less issues you're going to have with water penetration in the shower. So I see a lot of guys that will build their curb in concrete, usually this brick and block type of thing. In fact, they use a 4x4, I guess, in this case, which I don't do, but anyway, this is already wet. This has water on it, so even though they wrap the shower pan, you can see they wrap, or the curb rather, they wrap the curb and put Durarock on. The wetness is probably due to the tile. This type of grout is non-sanded, so it does absorb water pretty easily. So over the years, that has got some saturation. But what I was getting at is that there is a train of thought that if you build it stronger, that it somehow will resist moisture, and that's just not true. Brick, block, you know, any type of porous surface is still going to absorb moisture, so I don't bother doing that. I usually use pressure treated 2x2s and stack them 3 high and wrap my curb, and I do some other things to ensure water doesn't come through, including red guard. Had they even red guarded this, probably wouldn't have the penetration going on there. But anyway, more to the point, they did build the bench out of cinder block, which I see from time to time, and brick, and poured mortar in there and everything to make it very solid. Now, solid is not necessarily, you know, necessarily a good thing if it doesn't absorb water. I mean, if it takes water in rather, then, you know, having the solidity of a bench or even a curb really is irrelevant. And the reason why, when I got into this, it was a little odd. It's a little odd that they would pour the pan, they would put the pan liner up the wall and tile the entire wall, and then after the fact have this little cutout here to put the block in and all that stuff and build the bench. What they should have done is build the bench first and then wrap the pan liner up along this block and everything. That would have prevented any type of moisture from getting into the pan, because they actually set the block and the concrete and the bricks and all that stuff into the pan with a bench top that was not going to be water impenetrable, because it's the same tile that was on the top. I don't believe it was sloped either, and then you have caulking issues and stuff like that where caulking can get behind the wall. So the whole point of me doing this video is this is just an incredible amount of water that's in here. If you look down in here, this is literally, this would be a place where frogs could congregate and live. I mean, literally it goes up to right there on my fingers. You know, that's the 3 inches of water that has saturated this pan. And I'm in total shock that this pan hasn't weakened over time and cracked, although there are some issues with it. This is so much water that I'm going to have to get my wet vac to suck all this out before I take the pan out. So here you have, you know, a concrete block, you know, that's just solidly in there. Not only the concrete block, but also the brick and the mortar. And then in addition, they use this hardy backer board and wrap that around there as well. You know, so it's a lot of work, which weighs probably more than me. So the solidity of the bench is solid, right? But don't get that confused with being good. Obviously it's not. The way I build a bench is the same way I build the curb. The thing gets wrapped, but you know, I do all that stuff first, and then of course, you know, I do the pan afterwards. So none of my bench is inside the pan, first of all, but second of all, the way I build my benches, as I said, the way I build my curbs also, so water's not going to penetrate through. I have a slope on my bench. You know, I red guard it. I do a lot of precautions to make sure water doesn't penetrate, and even if it does, it's not going to get into the pan. In this case it did. So as I said, this is so much overkill, but yet it's not even working. I can get this block out of here. This took a lot of work to get it to this point. Well, I'm going to try and get this out, and I'm going to show you how much water there is in here. Okay, I managed to get the block out. It is just so saturated in water. Look at this pan. That's crazy. That's as wet as I've ever seen a pan in my life. That's just absolutely crazy that they would build it in such a way to let that water in. The actual pan under the liner is right here. So in the meantime, this whole pan up under the tile is getting saturated with water, just you know, inundated with water to the point where it'll never dry out. This would have gotten worse, and over time it would have weakened the whole structure, not the block or anything, but the structure of the pan, probably as well as the backer board, because the backer board behind this tile is getting saturated as well, and it's following the path of least resistance since it is porous, getting up on the wall, and these tile eventually would have fallen off the wall just because of the pure continuous saturation of the board. It's just what a mess. So anyway, that's kind of my diatribe on that. There is no point in doing overkill with block and brick and all this stuff when what you do at the end doesn't work anyway. So you know, just kind of don't worry about how you know, Tyler, if he's good at Tyler, you know, don't worry about how he does something as far as putting blocks and brick on a curb and a bench and all that stuff. If the final result is he doesn't prep it right before he tiles it, and if the tile isn't done correctly as well. So that's that. I'm going to finish the tear out and try and get this thing back together. Okay, I am finished with this bathroom. This has been 7 days. If you recall, this is all builder's grade white tile that was on here. I believe it was an 8x8 tile. So what they got is this porcelain. It actually looks like travertine, but it's porcelain, which I really like a lot. This particular tile I don't like, because it turns out, even though they spent pretty good money on it, it wasn't honed right. So on one particular tile it might be, it's 13-inch tile, it might be 13 1/8, and another one it might be just shy of 13. So when you're trying to do that tile on a floor, it wasn't too bad when I'm doing a diagonal, but had it been a wall and I was doing it straight, it would be more difficult. So I don't particularly like the tile, but I like the look of it, because it does look like travertine, and it sure beats what was here. Then of course I always do these metal strips, because when the vacuum cleaner, you know, hits the edges of your tile, it'll crack, and they actually had that fake marble strip there, which I ended up using. I'll show you in a minute. The vanities actually got taken out. You really can't tell right now, but they fully got taken out, put in the garage for the duration of the bathroom renovation, so that all the tile was contiguous and laid up under the floor, and on this side as well. So what I did is went ahead and, you know, today, the last day, put the vanities back, installed the new faucets that they wanted. So I think my friend Ron, who's going to be painting this bathroom eventually, is going to paint these vanities to better match, I guess, the decor. Although they really don't look awful, you know, they're dated because it's a fake marble. But anyway, speaking of fake marble, the strip that was actually over here in the closet, I think it's 24 inches over there. I put the metal transition right there as well. But that one was actually 24 exactly, which was what this was. So we transitioned from the diagonal into a square over here, and the transition got made with this strip. So it turned out pretty good, and you know, we'll use it again. The other piece that was over here got thrown away. And then of course at the end of the job, all the baseboard and the quarter round go back and get caulked and all that stuff. And then Ron will, he's a painter, he'll eventually paint all that when he paints the walls. He's also going to set the toilet, because the toilet wasn't set. Because when he paints the walls, he wants to do the back wall. So eventually the toilet a new one will go right there. In the meantime, if you recall, the shower before was builder's grade white tile, and now it is this travertine. It's supposed to be travertine, but it's a polished travertine. So it's 8 by 12 pieces, or 9 by 12 rather, and they say it's a travertine. It's more like marble. So it actually has a very smooth surface on it. And so this is a finished shower. What I managed to do, which I always like to do, is extend the shower out. I think before the shower came about flush with the tub over here. So probably right here, and I got about another foot by about 40 inches. So another 3 or 4 square feet I got out of it. Just by taking it up, the simple step of taking it up to where the closet stops right there, got me that extra room. Took the knee wall, which was actually about 4 foot, and got rid of that completely, and then built a new one. And the reason I did that is because they wanted something lower that was flush with the tub. I thought it would be silly to put it flush with the tub just because of the water issues and everything. So I suggested go up 2 or 3 inches, which is what I did. So I lowered the knee wall, made that about 2 or 3 inches above the tub lip. And then of course the tub got a little makeover too. The tile got changed out, and we put a backsplash on there with the matching bullnose going around. The customer actually put this in. It came from Amazon, and he only spent $120 or something on it, so that was pretty nice. I didn't have to change out the body of that, which was really great for me and saved him a little bit of money, and then of course he saved money overall anyway. So I put the matching tub drain down there, and that didn't come with the clamp, so I can't put that on, but he can handle that later. And back to the shower. I'm suggesting that customers buy these contiguous pieces of either marble, they have them in granite, and this one happens to be the travertine type material as well. The reason I like them is because it negates any grout lines whatsoever, so you end up with a pretty, you know, solid piece of water impenetrable curb that, if they do it right as I did, and you put the curb down first and the tile overlaps the top of that, so that any of your water of course would drain off, and then you won't have any curb issues ever. And then of course, as my curbs do, they slope inward, probably about 1/4 of an inch or so. So that's good for the runoff. We got rid of the bench in the corner. If you remember, the bench, the concrete bench, had water in it and all that stuff. They decided they didn't want a bench. They just wanted, you know, this little, it's not really a bench, it's just a step stool. So we put that in the corner. She also decided she wanted a soap dish. And the soap dish looks nice and it blends in with everything, but it does have a little trough down here. So I suggested the husband drill a hole right down there so the soap doesn't end up soggy. And then of course, you know, a new shower fixture, and that's pretty standard. The niche, as I do, I usually try and bring 4 of these tile and then do a diagonal cut as I've done and stick the 4 of those tile inside there. But she managed to get a medallion that she liked, so we incorporated the medallion into the design of that. And then these trim pieces are very smooth and shiny, as is the tile, so that turned out really well to frame out the niche. And you know, it really looks different from what it used to look like. These pieces are not shiny, which is kind of apropos because you have the porcelain back over here, which you know, isn't shiny. So anyway, everything kind of blends together, and it's quite a difference from, you know, when we started 7 days ago. Started on a Wednesday, and today's Wednesday, and I'm out of here, and I am on to the next job. So I'm gonna back out and get to work.